Hey there, my fellow legionaries, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Lycan Legion, Episode 31, Krasus Request. At the start of the stream, I want to place a few extra finishing touches on this villa before we really pull the trigger on adding anyone. We are also going to need to decide who's going to be the dedicated slave to wait on the senators. And we're going to need to make sure that we have a very steady supply of the food and desserts and drugs that they want, which is going to be vitally important for keeping them happy. There's one other thing. The shelves here for drugs, they don't work where you can like stack 3 different types up to 10 for the stacks mod. So I'm going to need to make some extra shelves. So I'm making a little room here for the radiator to move. So the plan is, just to recap, that we will cook their food in the kitchen that serves everybody. And then the food will be brought from this shelf over to the senator's villa for them to consume. In fact, I don't think it's necessarily unreasonable, once I have a few more slaves, for them to literally be waited upon. But we'll have to decide that at a later date. And also it depends on how the game mechanics play out, because, you know, as much as I would like to have it be realistic, RimWorld is constrained a little. But that's the plan. And then once this part is done, a few more shelving for a few more for the variety of drugs. We're going to make a push to invite Krasus, which means sending a messenger over to Cilicia and asking Krasus himself what he expects of us so that he might join us. And at the same time, we will earn his favor, which means that we will be able to craft Centurion armor, and anyone drafted will not suffer mental breaks, which is great for, you know, legionnaires. So, very solid choice, I think. Okay. So we are just about done. The other thing that we're going to need to do is do zoning restrictions, obviously. Because nobody is actually zoned away from the villa yet, but once the senators are here, I don't want my regular plebeians and patricians going into the villa, as they don't belong there. Alright, so copy, paste, and then this one will be for ambrosia. This one will be for tea, and this one will be for beer. Okay, we don't have ambrosia and tea yet, but we are growing. We already grew the hops, right? You know, you can see the wort here. We're starting to process it. And then the psychoid plants are about half grown. So it's really only a matter of time until they sprout and they're ready. I think in this spot, I will grow... I don't really want to get the senators addicted to poppies, so maybe just a little extra double strand as well. Con Humanus, thank you for the resub. Okay, I think we are just about ready for someone to make the ride out and ask what Krasus expects of us. And I could think of no better person than Scipia herself. It shouldn't be that far of a ride. It is wintertime though, so it's going to take a little extra long, but I'll, of course, take one of the horses. I'll take a mare with me. We're going to take some fine grills, which I'm sure will spoil. It also might not be a terrible idea to grab some silver, because there could be a chance to do some trade while out there. And I've been stockpiling jerky for this exact reason, so that we can, and pemmican, of course, so that we could very easily travel without too much problem. So I'm going to take some of the leathers, because we're also going to market, right? I don't necessarily just have to have this trip be about the senator. Nobody wants Thrumbo horn. I'm sort of contemplating getting rid of it. I'll take 3,000 silver. 2,000. All right. Just because, we're not really using it. Oh, you know, the other thing that just occurred to me, we're storing it in the general stockpile, and it should be in the weapons, so that it does not encourage these slaves to rebel. All right. And this mare is healthy? Good. I hadn't checked. Do I have any unhealthy horses? An eye scar, but that doesn't matter for a horse. A body scar, but it doesn't slow them down. No. All the horses are top speed. Perfect. That's going to be a bit of a problem if we are trying to leave the base on caravan. So I'm going to issue my bowmen to guard the gate. Well, that was probably brain or heart. Oh, just the whole head. Cutting an entire boar's head off. Okay. Yep. Leading mare to exit. So we're heading off. Compacted machinery, you say? I don't think so. Hang on 1 second. There shouldn't be any machinery anywhere. Oh, RimWorld. Oh, Randy. Just trying to mess with me. Robs, thank you for the resub too. So, Scipia, you should probably be assigned any food. And her food quantity will recalculate soon. I wonder why it doesn't recalculate instantly. Like, I feel like when you change the food allowances, it should just immediately recalculate. I don't think that's unreasonable. That's not, like, too much extra calculating or anything. How is our coal doing? We mined up a whole bunch of coal down here. We haven't actually hauled it all. Or really any of it. So I'll just keep mining it up, but we're going to want to bring that in so that we can make steel again. Because we have our stockpiles that are completely full of, like, iron, but really not a lot of steel to speak of. So, 5 days of food, arriving in 2 days, 4 days round trip. Perfect. I packed the right amount of food. Alright, so the current priority is invite Krasus or ask Krasus for his favor. Krasus is male, right? Yeah. And once he actually arrives, obviously we're going to have to fire up all the torches and dedicate a slave to managing his needs. It's already heated, so that part's fine. And he has quite the impressive bedroom and an extremely impressive rec room and storeroom. Everything's extremely impressive, and hopefully that will satisfy his demands. The bathrooms are not extremely impressive, I guess. They could be a little better, but oh well. Alrightos, thank you for the resub too. 17 months already? I know, it goes fast. Cheers. So thinking about other projects to work on while we earn Krasus's favor. I don't want them to be big projects because Krasus's favor is going to be the priority. So I don't want to take on like a massive construction project or something like that. So what small project to do while earning Krasus's trust? Build an art building. So an art craft building, because right now the smithy and the art building are like one and the same. It's a little weird. So building a dedicated art building might make sense. I could build some guest domus. So one of the mods, because I don't usually speak about mods here, but one of the mods included for this series is hospitality, which allows you to host guests. And we don't have any guest housing, but I could build one. Yeah. What else could I do? I could travel to other cities for trade. That wouldn't be necessarily unreasonable with all the horses I have. It only would take one person. Kind of a minor issue. I could also build a dairy. Oh, Thrumbos. Both healthy? Okay. The reason for that is we have some cheese presses in the kitchen, but the amount of milk that we have a lot more milk than we have cheese because of the bottleneck of cheese presses. So I could build a dedicated building for cheese specifically and, you know, press a lot more so that we have more cheese to offer as food or also meal ingredients. I could build a hay barn. Build hay storage. I saw that in chat. So in the winter, the animals don't have easily grazable source of food, and I could build a small outbuilding to store hay near where they're housed. Or I'll include viewer suggestions. So if you all think that my ideas suck, you can vote. Oh, let me fix that. Boop. You can... Oh, that shouldn't look like that either. I'm really bad at this, huh? You can vote for me opening up a suggestion box and suggesting your own. Another thing I'd need to consider soon is it isn't just slaves that the senator wants. They also want protection. Which is to say, a guard on patrol when they live here. Now, I've already sort of figured it might be Tranlamary, but I need to start coming up with uniforms. Uniforms for our brawlers, our legionaries, uniforms for our crossbowmen or longbowmen, because they aren't going to wear the same things. So that we start to look more like a legion rather than a ragtag band. Which also includes dyeing our clothing. Not purple, by the way. Purple is reserved for senators and royalty. But dyeing our clothing an appropriate color. So there is that to think about as well. And it's on the forefront of my mind. Don't you worry. Alright, looks like two projects are kind of neck and neck, head to head, but I don't think it's unreasonable to necessarily build both. So hay does not naturally decay in my settings, I don't think. Like, even when it's warm? Yeah. So it just needs storage nearby. The idea essentially is like, when there is grazables, don't use hay, and then when there's no grazables, use hay. So, the hay storage could be honestly as simple as including like a little closet in the room that we like force the door open or force the door closed, depending on the seasons. I think that would be the smartest, lowest effort solution. I could even potentially in this room use the geysers by putting the hay on the shelves, and then well, no, because the barn would intermix. That would be a problem. I wouldn't want the critters to cross over. But yeah, something like that. So that we can just force the door open if the animals need access to hay, and then the door closed if they don't. And it also looks like you guys want a dairy. I am going to choose to build the dairy here. For a few different reasons. But chief amongst them is sharing a wall with the farm insulates the farm even further, so that the farm doesn't bleed its heat out to the surrounding areas. And also, it's just, it's really close to where the milk is stored, because I won't want the buildings, you know, I want to keep them separate. Fortunately, the cheese press doesn't really matter what temperature it is. That's not a concern. Alright. Granite tiles. So, tiny little dairy outbuilding. Not fancy. Straightforward. So let's add that to the priorities. Good ideas. I'm going to keep this building pretty modest. Very straightforward. Not fancy. High capacity. Kind of the way you see like Parmesan being stored in those warehouses to age. Something like that. Alright, as far as the hay storage, this should work just fantastically. Once it's done. So I think the forced door open thing, so we don't even have to haul, is the smartest play. So that all we have to do is force a door open or close, depending on whether they have food available or not, rather than have to haul anything. Just because we have slaves doesn't mean I need to overwork them, right? So we're soon to hit the road, and then we'll be in Calicia pretty quickly. Yeah, these are just like little minor quality of life things. They're not nothing major, but it should definitely help when it comes to keeping everyone fed and happy and all that. Trying to think of where to put it here. What I might do is shrink the barn down and put it on the other side, because these are our studs, our bull and our drake, so we don't really have a lot of them. In fact, am I down to one drake? I thought I had two, but if I'm down to one, I probably need to fix that. And Turtle, thank you for the bits. Welcome. Pleasure to have you here. Okay. So I'm putting... Yeah. So we just need to move some stuff around. Not a big deal. Breeder barn. Where do I want to put it in the breeder barn? I think for the breeder barn, given their lack of food, I don't even necessarily need a hay closet. Maybe I do. I don't know. So because cheese doesn't need to be a specific temperature, the press, I'm not going to add radiators in here. And then as soon as these are done, I will break them down. Because I want to free up the room for more kitchen. So we'll probably want a second stove at some point. Given that we're set to feed a lot more people. So for now, I'm going to aim for a bunch of normal quality cheese. Because I don't know if waiting for the highest potential quality is, like, worth it. Especially if it's a, just an ingredient. Maybe I need to eat some cheese. Maybe I need to be more informed. What quality cheese do we have here? This is cheese normal. And this is going to be cheese legendary in 9.3 days. So, I'll have the option to do a little taste test. Alright, Scipia, you are only about a half day away, making very good time. And now all the cheese presses are loaded. Cool. As I said, it's a very, very simple building, but I think it will help out a lot when trying to process the massive amounts of milk. And I've been selling milk too. These cows are overproductive. Okay, I can mark that down. Build hay storage. So some of the outbuildings are, yeah, they're still in process. Digging at the coal. So this is the last seam of coal that we know about. And then once we dig this up, the only coal that we'll have left will be quarried from the ground. Unless there's coal in the mountains, but I don't want to strip mine the mountains. I wasn't planning on it. Mostly just looks weird. Don't like the aesthetic of strip mines for a colony like this. Okay, Scipia should be arriving pretty soon. It's very weird to see the Thrumbo just like chilling in my pasture as if they're tamed. They're not. And that's so confusing. Getting a... Oh no, I was looking at the wrong temperature. Thought it was getting cold in the triclinium, but it is not. I might need to put Darius on construction because the hay barn's just not going to get done at this rate. Alright, she is in Calicia. So the first thing I want to do is do some trade, and then I will check out the possibility of earning favor. So they are selling coal here if I wanted to buy coal. It's good to know. They're selling lots of dyes as well. I can't carry that much coal, You know, I don't have like a horse train. But, alright. I don't think there's really anything for us to buy here, unfortunately. Oh, that's not true. There's the Turian fabric, which I'm definitely going to want for the senators. Alright. Next up is requesting a quest from Krasus. We are not, of course, going to try to bribe them. That's not our way. So Krasus, what would you have us do? Krasus wants us to defeat a camp of Neanderthals, controlled by Thukul. And here is his rewards. So the top one is his favor, and 2 helmets, one made of wood and one made of uranium. The middle one is his favor and a lot of gold, which, thumb on the scale might be nice because we don't have a easy source of gold to tap. And the bottom one is goodwill up to maximum and his favor. So what reward for his favor? What do you guys think? Helmet, gold, or goodwill? While you vote on that. Okay, yeah, this part's done. Oh, I see the bottleneck. The bottleneck for this project is that, we are basically out of granite. Because the dairy building required most of what we had. I understand. No, I don't like that. I'll just put it over here. Okay. We are accepting reward number 2. So we have to go to the Bandit Camp that is just north of Lycan, clear it out for Krasus to show him that we are serious, and that will earn us both gold and favor. Okay. So we want to fulfill Krasus' request and finish the little horse barn thing. I mean, that's not that serious. So once, so what I really want to do is just to get the horse barn done so that I can focus on the other things. And I'm planning on trying to issue some sort of uniforms prior to marching out to Thukul, or to that bandit outpost. Can you just haul properly? No, you really can't, can you? So the next step is for uniforms. So Darius already has some armor from past quests. And interestingly, it's being stored down here, which is, like, probably not correct. So quality limit is going to be up to excellent. Masterworks need not be stored there. And then over here, this will also be for clothing, I guess. So Masterwork and Legendary Clothing and armor. But probably non-tainted. Cheers. The slaves kind of already have clothing, although they probably need to be dyed a specific color. So maybe coming up with a adding an expansion on the tailor for a dying area, like DYE. Oh, I missed a pet the dog's dog treat, I think. Okay. So there, the armor is getting moved where it needs to be. And at some point, I'm probably going to want a full-fledged armory, too. So there's a lot of little projects I'm managing all at once. Totally fine. Now, one of the trickier things is that I am going to want Thrumbo Clothing, but I don't want Thrumbo Clothing to necessarily end up being worn by anyone. So I want to keep it separate and out of the market. I know I'm not currently hunting these Thrumbo. Oh, yeah, you, good job. Looking over and he's just like, trapped himself. That is exactly correct. Good job. I know it's a little counterproductive to use granite for these shelves, but it matches the rest of the building, so I'm going to do it anyway. You can see what it will look like once it's done, where we keep the hay in a room that is kept separate from where the animals are, and then the doors can be forced open, giving them access to it when the paddock's food is too scarce. No, we got some sick critters too. So Scipia will be home in a day and a third, and I have 27 days to make it, basically 2 seasons to make it up to the Bandit Camp. So lots of time, which is good. Here, I'm going to put apparel. And what I want to do in this specific apparel is... This apparel is going to be for the clothing that I want my fighters to use. So button-down shirt and pants made of Thrumbo fur. So this is Thrumbo apparel. And in this case, it's really any quality. And 51 plus. Or, I did that backwards. 50, let's do 60 plus. So, if I start to make button-down shirts, I can select Thrumbo fur, made by Elba, and then take it to Thrumbo apparel. And Thrumbo apparel is critical, meaning nothing should ever be hauled out of that. Not to the iron shelf down here. And that way this, because there was no filter for materials for apparel here. Like, there was no materials filter. So this is my way of, like, dealing with the materials filter. So this is going to be for... Make make Thrumbo fur shirt. Do until I have. Oh, the do until I have is a bit tricky, isn't it? Details. Only allowed ingredients. So only allowed ingredients means it only checks other Thrumbo fur shirts. And I'm going to do the same thing with the pants. And the people that wear this stuff will only be, you know, the people that I think will be in combat. To make Thrumbo fur pants, only allowed ingredients. Let's do a 90 plus. And then take to, oops, Thrumbo apparel. Now my other concern is that, if this is critical, it might bring non-Thrumbo fur here. So what I was going to experiment with is to remove everyone access to this, to these rooms, or at least to those specific shelves, to see if it stops them from actually wearing it. So I think what I'll do is temporarily have Bebo avoid the corpse pond, and then put all the other slaves in, let's say, no villa access, just so that I can zone them specifically. So this is what I'm going to try. This is an experiment to see if I can keep them from wearing the clothing. I don't know, but we'll find out. Because other than that, what I could do is I could just do forced apparel only and micromanage it myself. And if it comes to that, fine. So be it. Oh, that's Ionis. I was like, why is he not constructing? So here's the shirt. Oh, so he can't even haul it himself? I have to... Huh, I see. Now this could work if Elba was, had forced clothing and he was the only one given access to that room. Yeah, so when he crafts it, he literally can't step foot there. Got it. So it does work, but it stops him to have access to it too. I guess I'm accidentally making another Thrumbo fur pant. It's fine. Alright. In the old bills, I want to go through and make sure that we're not using Thrumbo fur for anything else. So, do a quick check for that. Toques. So this is woolen toques. An amount of wool. Slave collars made of plain leather and iron. Body straps made of cloth, I guess is fine. Tribal wear made of cloth now. These pants are going to be made of... So this is like the general pants queue. And... I'm going to do only allowed ingredients, so it does not count the Thrumbo fur. So we do have spare pants. No, we don't. Alright. Then the shirts. All ingredients only allowed, but not Devil Strand, Tyrian, or Thrumbo fur or wool. And we need more of those. Shade cones. Yeah, you can kind of see the theme. Actually, shade cones specifically... We can just say cloth. Or actually, Devil Strand would be really good for shade cones. Because of the Devil Strand's heat allowances. And then for capes, I will say Devil Strand as well. This will probably require a lot of tinkering. But, Darius, let's give you the pants and the shirt. I might, taking a look at this, I might need to do a, yeah, this doesn't really work. So what I might need to do is a forced clothing for everybody. I think, oddly enough, that might be the easiest solution. And I can also, so a mix of forced clothing. Eventually, when I'm able to make togas, everyone that is non-combat will wear togas all the time. And then anyone in combat will have different combat gear. I'm just not there yet. But I can create the uniforms anyway. So let's do that. Let's call this Brawler. 51 plus. No tainted. For headgear, I'm going to clear everything because I want to cherry pick. So for headgear, it's going to be Centurion or Legionnaire. For armor, Centurion or Legionnaire. Button-down shirt, pants, and a shield, if a shield's available. And now, Darius, you are now a Brawler. And he's going to armor up, which is what I intended. Oh, yeah, these shelves are all sorts of wrong. What, is this not enclosed? Seriously? Corners don't work? No, corners work. Wait, why are all these animals then out of the barn? Oh, they're bringing them back. Okay, very confusing. Alright, I made a bunch of these shelves. I need to only allow hay on them because it's turning into a bit of a mess. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Lycan Legion, which originally streamed live on Twitch October 6th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, viewers like you that support the channel, and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Lycan.